Remember this? The M1 iMac? Because I do. I love this thing. I have had it since launch day back in 2021. It's almost 2 years now since we've gotten this iMac, and I honestly am a little bit disappointed in Apple because what they did with the M1 iMac was rejuvenate a product line that had been stagnant for a really long time. But now they're doing it again. This thing came out in April 2021, not a peep since. They killed off the 27-inch, that's gone completely. This is all we have. And that bothers me. Let me tell you why. If you're watching a video about iMacs, then there's a pretty good chance that you're either already in the Apple ecosystem or trying to get there. In that case, today's video sponsor, Wondershare WhatsApper, might be able to help. With WhatsApper, you can easily move data from your old stinky Android phone to your new iPhone with a few simple steps. Just go to their website with the link in the description below and click the download button. Then scan the QR code with your Android phone, install the app via the Play Store, and once you've set up, you can choose to move data from iPhone to Android or vice versa, select which data you want, and get going. And WhatsApper isn't just for conversations in messaging apps such as WhatsApp. It also works with contacts, messages, photos, music, videos, documents, apps, and more. So check the link in the description below to get started today with WhatsApper. And now let's get back to the video. For more than 2 decades now, the iMac has been the go-to desktop of choice for universities, university students, freelance video editors, web designers, graphic designers, programmers, you name it. Who doesn't love an iMac? I mean, if you're gonna buy a desktop, the iMac represents not just a clean, pretty, and minimal design, but also a really good value. The old 5K iMac started at $1799, and that was honestly not a terrible price just for the display that you were getting, but you got a whole entire computer attached to it. And the same is true with the M1 iMac. For $1299, you can get this exact computer. It comes with the keyboard and the mouse, and a 24-inch 4.5K display, a 1080p webcam, pretty good studio microphones, speakers, USB-C ports on the back, and there's an M1 chip inside of it. For $1,300, or at least that's if you buy it new, head over to Apple's refurbished store and you can take your pick. They've got all sorts of these things and they're $200 off, so $1,100, the same price as an iPad Pro 12.9, and you can get yourself this entire all-in-one desktop with a wireless mouse and keyboard and everything that you need for a full macOS experience. I mean, what? This is an insanely good deal. You can fairly regularly find these things on sale from B&H or Best Buy for under $1,000. Sub 1K for this. That blows my mind. And I get that the one criticism of the iMac is that it's not as flexible. With a traditional desktop like a Mac Studio or a Mac Mini, you can pair whatever mouse and keyboard, whatever display you want. But here, it's 24 inches and that's it. Because Apple killed off the 27-inch, so too bad. If you want anything other than this, you're out of luck. But that being said, I think this is still a really compelling package. To give you an idea of how good of a deal this is, I put together a little Amazon cart. So what are we looking at here? Well, I've got a DCI-P3 24-inch 4K display, a renewed M1 Mac Mini, so we're saving a little bit of money there, and then I just grabbed a simple Logitech mouse and keyboard, some speakers, and a 1080p webcam, right? Nothing special, nothing super pretty, and our total here comes to $1,166.89. So that's $70 more expensive than if you were to just go grab an M1 iMac off of the refurbished store. And when you get that set up, you're going to be staring at a black plastic display with a black plastic webcam tacked onto the top of it, some black plastic speakers on either side, and a black plastic keyboard and mouse. I wouldn't pay an extra $70 for that. And sure, yeah, you could upgrade to an M2 Mac Mini if that ever exists and keep the rest of your setup. That is a perfectly valid point. But these things hold their value just as well as any other Apple product. So let's say hypothetically, M2 iMac comes out and you want to upgrade. Well, it'll probably look exactly the same. So you can pop this guy on eBay for $950, buy your new one for $1,300. It's not that different than keeping your Mac Mini for a couple of years and swapping it out when there's a new one. I mean, I get the argument that the iMac doesn't offer as much flexibility, but what it lacks in that flexibility, it makes up for with style. That's always been the strong suit of the iMac. This is basically a portable thing. I mean, look, okay, I've got a little dongle in the back. Let's get rid of that. And look at how clean this is. This is an entire computer with your webcam, speakers, and microphone all built into it. And it's one cord on my desk. It can just sit wherever. There's just nothing out there that does what the iMac does. And that's why I'm really disappointed that Apple seemingly isn't super interested in continuing this thing. I mean, we've had the M2 chip for 6 months now. Why is it not in here? Why is it not in the Mac Mini? What about a 27-inch iMac? Apple released a studio display. Why not just make it a little thicker and put an M1 Pro in there? That could have satisfied the needs and wants of so many people. I just hope that we don't end up in the same debacle that Apple put us in back before this iMac came out, which was that design that went from 2012 all the way until 2021. It was 9 years. That's crazy. And more than anything, I would love to see this design and Apple Silicon make it to a 27-inch iMac. Apple at this point has missed their transition period for that product to exist, but I guess they skirted around the rules by discontinuing the darn thing, because then there's nothing to replace. But hopefully, if reports are to be believed, there should be a 27 or maybe even a 30-inch iMac in the works. Ross Young, who is extremely reputable, has been talking for almost 2 years now about a 27-inch 5K mini LED ProMotion panel. And I don't know about you, but to me that sounds pretty flippin' awesome. And my conspiracy theory is that was the panel that was intended to go in the studio display for a $2,000 price point with 27-inch mini LED ProMotion. I think that would have been fantastic. But the problem was Apple couldn't get it ready in time. So that's why I think they pulled the plug on the 27-inch iMac and then took the panels they were using for those and stuck them on the studio display. I mean, the studio display is so over-engineered. It has a perforated power supply and an iPhone 11 inside of it. Why would you need that for the same 5K display that's been shipping for 5 years? You don't. I mean, everyone likes to think that Apple has it all planned out, but as we saw with my video on iPhone 14 Pro ray tracing, that is not the case. So I think it's extremely likely that Apple was going to release a 27-inch iMac and a studio display with the same panel, but they just couldn't pull it off in time. And that makes me wonder, chop chop, it's been almost a year now. It's been 10 months since we got the studio display. It's been nearly 2 years since we got this. Where's my iMac stuff? I love iMacs. I used to edit on iMacs. I had a 2015, I had a 2019, I had an iMac Pro. I had iMacs as my main editing computers for like 5 years here on the channel, and I would love to do it again, frankly. But please, Apple, please make more iMacs. And you guys, please buy more iMacs because they're great. This is such a good platform. It's got plenty of performance. It's thin, it's pretty, it's got a great display. The mouse and keyboard are included. Plus, if you spend a little bit more money, you can get the extra GPU, another fan, Touch ID on the keyboard, and Ethernet on the power supply. That's awesome. I'm a little bit peeved, as you might be able to tell, because I just love the iMac so much and I don't want it to die. So please, Apple, give me more iMacs. And please, you guys, give me more. Subscribe and hit like button, comment, and I'll see you in the next video.